When you hear the word endangered, what comes to mind? Maybe a polar bear on a melting ice sheet or a tiger being chased by a human with a gun. Both species are found in Indonesia, and both are endangered. In fact, they're critically endangered, which means that according to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, or IUCN, they're at extremely high risk of extinction in the wild. Poachers also hunt orangutans for their body parts, which are used in traditional medicines. Climate change. As you may know, orangutans are great at adapting to changes in their environment. Well, according to a paper published in 2021 in the journal Nature Climate Change, we all need to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 40% below 2010 levels and protect 80% of suitable orangutan habitat by 2030. If we can do that, we can buy the species enough time to adapt to the new climate. For example, orangutans living in areas with more rain tend to have more meat in their diet, whereas those in drier regions eat more fruit. But even these super adaptable apes are hitting a wall. When it comes to the current climate crisis, climate change is altering the timing of flowering and fruiting seasons. And since orangutans rely on fruit, this can make food scarce. Plus, warmer temperatures are bringing drier weather to their habitat, which makes forest fires more likely. And those fires not only destroy the habitat that orangutans need to survive, but they also emit massive amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which leads to more climate change. Basically, you have an extinction crisis, potentially made worse by the changing climate, which itself is made worse by the loss of the forests that orangutans live in. And sometimes they're captured and sold as pets. In recent years, though, most of the orangutans that get poached or smuggled aren't adults. They're babies. That's because people want them as pets, or because they're easier to smuggle. We'll need to reroute our food production systems away from palm oil, enforce laws against poaching and habitat destruction, reduce our overall consumption of fossil fuels, and more. It's easy to imagine them swinging through the trees like the acrobatic chimps in Tarzan. But there's nothing really acrobatic about their way of moving. Orangutans don't spend much time in trees. They prefer to stay close to the ground where they use their long arms to reach juicy fruits. They'll sometimes climb into trees to build a nest for sleeping or to escape predators like tigers. But unlike chimps, they aren't regularly using tools or swinging from vine to vine. They're kind of the couch potatoes of the primate world. But it's not impossible. And considering that orangutans have already endured so much, it's the least we can do. Smugglers will often target females who lost their babies to poaching or habitat loss, and then try to sell the babies as pets. A female orangutan who loses her baby will basically be driven to madness. She'll scream for days, hardly eat, and eventually succumb to her grief. But when it comes to orangutans, their plight is a bit different. While habitat loss and poaching do play a role in their endangerment, it's a third factor that might surprise you. It's a factor that also threatens us humans. There are two main species of orangutan, the Bornean orangutan and the Sumatran orangutan. And while both species face similar threats, today we're going to focus on the Bornean orangutan. So why are these big apes in big trouble? We can blame some of their woes on us humans. As our populations have grown, so has our need for space. And as a result, we've encroached into the tropical forests that Bornean orangutans call home. Since 1990, for example, the rate of forest loss in Borneo has been about 4.4% per year, much of which has been driven by humans clearing land for palm oil plantations. Between 2002 and 2010 alone, the orangutan's habitat shrunk by 30.8% in one region of Borneo. All that habitat loss has had a major impact on the orangutan population. According to the IUCN, there were only about 100,000 Bornean orangutans left in the wild in 2018, down from an estimated 600,000 in the 1990s. And if things continue on their current trajectory, the species could be gone by 2050. But habitat loss isn't the only thing that's taking a toll on the species. And that brings us to the third thing that's endangering the Bornean orangutan. It's a very thing that's also threatening us humans. So, how can we turn this situation around? It may seem like just another big task for humans to tackle, but it's really more like several big tasks. Orangutans are so iconic, with their reddish hair and slow, deliberate movements. If you would like to learn more about orangutans, check out the links in the description. Thanks for watching.